Okay, I got some notes. I got the comparison camera that we're going to be talking about, and I got some thoughts. Not like anyone cares about my thoughts, but here are my thoughts. The Sony Rx1R3 just came out. I think I got that right. Well, at least the announcement just came out. Pretty much $5,000 camera. The first, I think, real legitimate competitor to the Leica Q, specifically the Q3, if we want to compare the most recent to the most recent. So, my thoughts on this. Here we go. Oh, one of which I already thought about right now and didn't add. We'll add that right now. Okay. Pros. Obviously, the Sony. With the Sony now, you're getting a compact fixed lens camera that has probably the best autofocus you're going to get for that size, like pound or ounce for ounce or pound for pound. That thing is going to autofocus like crazy. Plus, you're going to also have that tracking in video, so you can legitimately use this thing for a video. The downside is it does not have stabilization, and the Q3 does. Okay, so that's one negative right off the bat. One other positive that this may have, and this is kind of subjective, is and I know it's crazy saying this. I like the Leica colors. I obviously do. I shoot with the Leica SL system, the Leica Q. But if you're a Sony shooter, if you're in that world, you may like the colors because this has the new algorithm, and the skin tones right now at Sony are really, really, really good. I think right up there with Canon. I mean, if you really need to look that closely, they're pretty good. And that wasn't always the case. So they're really good. Now with this new kind of M11 60 megapixel sensor that's in the Q, not so much in the SL3S. That's why I actually like shooting with the SL3S as my primary. But with the 60 megapixel sensor, there is a magenta tint. Now again, it's not a big deal for me, and sometimes I like it, most times I don't. But when I'm in Lightroom, I just kind of use the adaptive. I just change it. I just change it, and I use like the new adaptive preset, and I kind of like the colors that come out of that more often than not. The skin tones on that. So you still, yeah. But for landscapes, I still go with the embedded. So okay, maybe the colors. Maybe the colors is something that you like more with the Sony. You got that autofocus. Okay. Now the cons, because keep in mind, Sony's pricing this thing is $5,000. You know, 9, 10, how many years they've had to kind of work on this and really develop it. When they started it, who knows? But the fact of the matter is, it's been 10 years or 9 years since the latest iteration of the RX1R. So me personally, I'm a little disappointed. It'd be great if I could, maybe have something that's comparable, and maybe sell it because I know these are going for a premium right now and go with a Sony. But no, I'm not going to, based on what I've heard. Okay, one of the reasons, well, and this is kind of unique to me, and it's kind of the way I like to. One of the added bonuses to the Q is that the Q, unlike the M, has the same battery that's in the SL3 bodies. And I think you can also use the same battery from the SL2 and the Q2s. Okay, it's just maybe limited and whatnot in certain things, but same battery. So I can go ahead, bring this camera, have the SL3, SL3S, and I have a built-in spare if for whatever reason. If I'm traveling, it's just great. And I already got extra batteries because I have the SL system. So yeah, they upgraded the battery in the Sony, but it's a different body. It's a different battery than their full-size bodies. So you have to carry 2 sets of batteries or whatnot. The user interface. The user interface for the Sony is still a Sony, and you're still paying $5,000 for a Sony. Now, granted, yes, there is the $6,000 A1s, the A9 IIIs. Those are professional cameras. A lot of people that buy Qs is why the top selling camera. a top-selling Leica camera, is that it appeals to professional photographers, enthusiasts, hobbyists, just guys with a lot of money. It appeals to all kinds of people. Now, Sony doesn't have that cachet that Leica does. They don't have the user interface. They don't have the feel that these cameras have, the build quality, the materials that they use. So I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. I was just listening to the Petapixel podcast. Really great podcast. I've ever since they started doing that, I've been enjoying that. They had a roundtable discussion, not round. They had a little discussion amongst all of them, and they were saying the same things. It's like I don't know whether people are going to purchase this camera for $5,000. It's still a Sony, you know. At the end of the day, this is still a Sony, and you're paying over $5,000 for a fixed lens camera. Yeah, it has great autofocus, but what about the lens quality? This is a lens. Yeah, I know the 28 millimeter Leica is older. I think it's almost about 10 years old. They're still using the 10-year-old, Zeiss lens, which they make great lenses. I don't know. I think it will hold up for the 60 megapixel sensor. I don't know. That's up for debate. I guess we'll see when the reviews come out and when the charts come out. I don't know, but for $5,000, I sure hope so. You know these lenses do, especially this 43, the Apo. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, this small form factor, and you're getting one of the best lenses you can have on a camera. So you're not making any compromises in terms of the lens. And this one with the Apo, maybe not the fastest because it's f2 as opposed to like f1.7 or f1.4 or something like that. So it's the lens quality. I'm not too sure about. I guess that's yet to be determined. But then on top of that, what I feel you're getting here with the Leica that you're not getting with the Sony is the lens functionality. Yeah, I think it has an aperture ring from the pictures I've seen. Does it have this manual clutch autofocus kind of interface? I don't think so. Some people are, complain about this because it's too. I've been shooting with a Q2 and now it's a Q3. I am able to go ahead and move this from lock position to unlock, no problem. And I love it. The way this thing moves, the smoothness of this thing is more smooth than the actual analog, some of these M lenses. Again, I haven't shot with all the Leica M lenses. I'm sure some of them are better. But the feel of this, I love it. Again, a subjective thing, I love it. Some people don't like this functionality, being able to switch them out. I love it. And then, of course, I already said macro by accident, but the macro functionality, the ability to go ahead and shift this thing into macro mode, just like that. All of this functionality on the lens. And you get a hood with this. You don't get a hood with the Sony. Just funny. It's almost like a Leica thing, but now Sony's doing it. So lens functionality. EVF. It's always been a weak point of Sony's is sometimes they kind of skimp on certain accoutrements, and the EVF is not as good as this EVF. Okay. And on a side note too, the way this thing is blended into the body, I mean, this just looks so much more refined than what the Sony's does. Again, subjective, but just giving my thoughts here. Okay. Next point here. Can't even read my own writing. Yes, screen quality. Screen quality and functionality. Now, the screen doesn't tilt. If that's not a big thing for you, well, then maybe you should look at a used Q2. because you're getting all of those other things that I mentioned that you're not getting in the Sony. You're getting a 47 megapixel sensor, and depending on what price you get for it, maybe cheaper, most likely cheaper. Yeah, for a Q2, yeah, absolutely cheaper. You probably save yourself about $1,000 or $2,000, if not more. So yeah, and the screen quality. It's a Sony. We know the Sony screens are the most disappointing aspect of those cameras, which are great cameras, technological marvels, but their screens are lacking. The screen is not lacking here. This is amazing, and it tilts. Doesn't flip, but it tilts. Okay? So there's that. All right. I kind of touched on this already, build quality. I don't really know what the build quality is going to be like in the Sony. I mean, I've seen the stats, the magnesium body, but at the end of the day, you can kind of tell when you go into a camera store and you hold it in your hand and you feel it, you move the aperture ring, those kind of things that is kind of yet to be determined. We know how good the Leica Qs feel. These just work. They're just beautifully crafted cameras that feel good in the hand. They look good. They're just beautifully crafted cameras that really are durable and stand up. With that build quality, the Q, like the SLs, has an IP certification. The Sony does not. Okay, so the build quality isn't just something to brag about. It's functional. Like, you know, this thing is going to hold up. Like, they certified it. Maybe the Sony will hold up, but they didn't certify it. So I don't know. You know, I mean, if it could, then why wouldn't you certify it? But that's just my thoughts. And then my final kind of con or thing I put in favor of the Q is value. You don't really know how much the Sony cameras are going to depreciate. You know, the R1XR2, you know, those are going about, I think, $3,800, right? Brand new. Well, I think you can get those for, they still are holding their value pretty well. I don't know how the secondary market's going to be now that these the newer models come out. That'll be interesting to see. But with the Qs, you know what you're getting. You know the resale value on these is amazing. On my Q2, I had that thing for close to a year, traveled with it, shot with it, brought it on actual paid shoots, commercial shoots. I love that camera. Even had a couple love marks on it. It was a reporter edition, so that helped. Ended up selling that camera for maybe $1,000 less than what I paid for it. I mean, a year later. So yeah, they're expensive at first, but they hold their value. It's a proven camera. This is the third iteration now. And like I said before, if you choose to maybe go the Q2 route, if you really want to do an apples to apples comparison, that's a fixed screen, the Q2. You're still getting the same EVF that's in the Q3, so it's a better EVF than the Sony, better screen than the Sony. You're not getting the megapixels or the autofocus, though, in the Sony. So, yeah. With that said, these are just my thoughts. I'm obviously biased. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. Like, I like Leica cameras. Okay, so yeah. But I am giving my genuine opinion. Like, you can tell on my channel, this is a really small channel. No one is, you know, I'm not looking to appease anyone or make anyone happy. I'm just giving my thoughts in the hope and you know, that it'll be helpful to someone. You know, just offering my perspective from an actual Leica user. You know, some things that I have appreciated, some benefits of the Leica that firsthand I have grown to enjoy. So with that said, that's all I got. I mean, teacher, I think it's a great camera. I'm happy that they did it, that they came out with the new version. I think it's awesome, and I hope they continue to kind of make cameras that people really love, you know, because right now, I mean, you've got Leicas and you've got Fujis, and those seem to be like the two main. Yeah, there's others. I'm not going to go into all of them, but those are the two that are really kind of making cameras that people genuinely love. You know, they're not functionally the best or the most competitive like Sony's, Nikon's, or Canon's, but they're cameras that people love and that are selling. So I'm glad to see that Sony is going in that direction, at least with this iteration. We'll see if anything else comes of this down the road. But yeah, I'm good. I'm still sticking with my Q343. I love this thing. I learned my lesson. I sold my Q2, and that was the biggest regret I've ever had to this date of selling any camera, was selling that Q2 reporter. I've had a chance to buy it back, but no, I'm good. I've got my Q343, and this is it. I'm not going to change this until, I don't know, a newer version comes out, and maybe I won't change it, but we'll see. All right. I'm going to stop rambling. All right. Peace.